Welcome back to Fujitsu Forum TV. Now, viewers who were working in industry back in the 90s will recall a time where we didn't really have the technology largely that we have today. It's easy to forget just how far we've come in under 20 years. Today, we want to be able to access any application, our data, and do so on any device in any location. Now, with me to discuss the challenges this demand is placing on business is Brian Janes from Citrix and Phil Dervan from SAP. Thank you both for joining us. Just how realistic is it to live that dream where my business trip to South America isn't a barrier, my desire to use my personal tablet rather than the corporate laptop, and be able to access any application in any location on any device at any time? Is that a realistic goal for businesses?
It's completely realistic, and something which Citrix has been doing with customers for a number of years. Even in the kind of time that I've been working in this area, we've actually gone from can I get email on a device to now accessing things like 3D CAD CAM models and applications across wide area networks from devices such as tablets, personal tablets, as you mentioned. And that was kind of unimaginable when we started. The technology continually adapts. I think everybody's used to that. But it's now smoothing out and making much more simple this process of how do we enable people to have the choice, of flexibility to choose kind of where they work, what they work from, how they do their work to a certain extent. And I think certainly with the businesses that are embracing that, they're starting to see the potential for the increases in productivity, the increases in employee engagement, and the good stuff that brings to their business.
Absolutely, and I think the adoption and acceptance of the cloud, where you can integrate anything and make it available anywhere, has made that possibility much clearer. So, for example, you can access your central data. So platforms aren't just workloads, clouds are not just workloads, they're platforms as a service. So in other words, you can use the platform as a set of tools, technologies and libraries to create apps or microservices and extend your core systems in any direction. And of course that makes access to core data, for example, much, much easier.
How does that enablement drive productivity?
I think it gives you a chance to look at how would you want your business to operate in an ideal world. So, I mean, Phil was just talking about the types of data that you'll be able to access. So, now, if I go back to my 3D model, actually being able to access this level of information from a device when you're stood right next to maybe a piece of plant machinery, that enables you to have information at your fingertips about part lists, about how maintenance tasks might work, and that as opposed to the old way of doing things, which might have been carrying big manuals around or going back to the office and checking on that information, coming back out to do the task. That's one example of how it actually frees up the employee to be where they need to be to do the work and really, get the insight, which is within systems such as SAP, to make, their productivity just easier to achieve.
It wasn't that long ago that we had 128-bit modems where working remotely was very painful. So clearly, technology has moved on greatly, and now we just accept that naturally that we can work at home. Also, when we talk about intelligent technologies, the technologies that are available today, like machine learning or blockchain, other apps that you can create using Internet of Things, I mean, these are all enablers, right? These provide useful assets to the company and data. So there's the concept of using data, running algorithms, using machine learning to draw some insights from that data, which also helps companies and employees.
There'll be a lot of chief officers watching Fujitsu Forum. They'll be thinking, okay, the innovation enablement, that rings a bell. I like what I'm hearing. Do I have a valid concern around making my legacy IT systems operate with new technology?
And I think concern is always there because we've built up layers upon layers of technology over these years. I mean, we're talking 20 years as the example. How many systems have come and gone in 20 years? Now, some of them can still be key to the business, to the operation, to revenue generation, for compliance and regulatory requirements. So you can't just chuck that stuff away and start from fresh. So with something like a digital workspace, as Fujitsu and Citrix do together, what you find is an aggregation point for these things. So you can actually provide the access that you need to those legacy systems alongside access to more modern systems, whether they are modern versions of what you already had, or SaaS applications, or mobile applications, or data from different repositories. And we can put that into one place for the user and easier to be easier to consume. And having that in one place also enables them to kind of gain the ability to almost have an intelligent workspace. So we can now start actually looking at the context of where's the user connecting from, on what device, what's it appropriate to show them, and going further into the future when we look at things like the AI and how that's becoming now not an industrial thing just anymore, but into the workspace. We can surface tasks and make it really context and personal experience for the user and bridge that gap between the cutting edge and new and the legacy.
Integrate anything, anywhere. That's what we consider a platform as a service is, a cloud. So in other words, we're making it easier to connect new technologies to older technologies, legacy technologies. The reality is that not everybody can be on the latest technology. This takes time. This takes time to figure out what strategy they want to adopt and what they want to enable. And this comes to change management. This is where our partners that we work with are obviously at the forefront of this, in defining what the needs are of the customer and figuring out what the strategy is over the next 3 years.
And I think digital transformation doesn't have to mean everything goes to the cloud. If you've got stuff that needs to stay on premise, that's fine. If you've got stuff that goes to SAP cloud or public cloud or a partner data center, that's fine as well. The technology exists and you can bring that together and make it seamless for the user.
And we advocate SAP, actually, we give the customers the option of both. So hybrid, we call it. So you can have on-premises or you can have cloud, you can have both. In fact, you can have multi-cloud. The reality is we're looking to enable businesses in the 21st century, especially in this land of digital innovation and the new intelligent technologies that are coming out. Machine learning, blockchain are the ones that are the buzz right now. In fact, machine learning's been around for quite a long time. And so many predictive analytics tools, for example, have been using machine learning for a long time. But today, the idea is to, bring machine learning into a process to add some intelligence, right? So either some intelligence or some insight to make it look smarter.
If you had one message for the viewers who are looking at this thinking, okay, I need to get on my digital transformation journey, or, we gave it a go and it kind of stuttered, how do I get moving again? What's the one piece of advice you've got for boardrooms?
Well, I would say everything begins with strategy. Right, so I think what potentially could happen is fits and starts. So people think, oh, I need to do this and I'm a digital ready company. No. The reality is it's a long undertaking, and that strategy needs to be defined at the top. And then you have enabling technologies. Technology doesn't provide on its own the digital transformation. It's the way people work. It's the sense and respond daily, because obviously the threat of disruption is considerable. These days we see it all around us. Amazon, for example, acquiring Whole Foods in the United States. That market was shocked by that, because that's an e-commerce company now moving into bricks and mortar. So the threat of change is much faster. So the idea is you need to sense and respond quicker and adopt new business models. So that starts with defining your strategy, and therefore you probably need professional help to do that. Then there are enabling technologies like SAP to help you on that journey.
I mean, I would certainly say, technology, as Phil said, is not the whole answer. You need to line up business processes to be able to do digital transformation. You need to line up HR policies. Employee feedback is crucial. So, having the strategy, not thinking that strategy isn't going to change along the way, but building a partner ecosystem around you. And in Fujitsu Forum, obviously, I've got to say, go co-create with your partners. Actually get in a room and work out, right, state this is where we want to go. How do we get there? Because no one company can do this alone. Everybody has expertise in different areas, and we're actually more familiar with working together with each other than people kind of give us credit for. Because behind all of these big projects is a number of key vendors working together to achieve a common aim. So let's just amplify that. And work together and figure out what's the path to get you to where you want to go.
Perfect message to end on. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us both. Plenty more to come on Fujitsu Forum TV, and we're going to stay Speaking of Citrix, we're talking to them again at 3:30 this afternoon. Citrix, of course, they're one of our key sponsors here on Fujitsu Forum TV. We're going to be chatting to an Ephraim Stringfellow at 3:30 this afternoon. He's going to be talking about delivering global people-centric solutions. Anyone that saw the keynote with President Tanaka and Duncan Tate yesterday, Duncan's key point, yes, we want creativity, yes, we want technology, but at the heart of it all is people, and that echoes exactly what Brian and Phil have just told us. Stick with us. We've still got another 7 interviews coming your way. And of course, the live keynote at 12 o'clock with Dr. Joseph Rieger. Blockchain was referenced then as one of the technologies that's going to be impacting. Right now, it's still wrongly associated solely with cryptocurrency. Dr. Joseph Rieger is going to be helping us understand why that's flawed and why it has far wider ranging and application potential. Worth tuning in for that one. Stay with us. More to come.